A woman came to the I Ching with a question. Could she reconcile with her ex-boyfriend? At the time of the reading, she already suspected that he might have another romantic involvement, although he denied it. So this was not simply a question about whether two people could get back together. Behind the question was a deeper concern. Was there something hidden affecting this relationship? To understand this case, we need to look beyond the surface question. Traditional Chinese I Ching divination is not simply about reading the judgment and line text of the Zhouyi. For thousands of years, practitioners in China developed structured methods for interpreting hexagrams through images, numbers, and texts. Today, we will explore how this traditional system analyzes this real case. This is the 15th case study in the 2026 I Ching Case Study series on I Ching Stream's Substack. The divination was cast on March 13, 2026, and the hexagram obtained was 15. Qian, modesty, changing to 13. Tongren, fellowship with others. To understand this case, we need to look beyond the name of the hexagram itself. In I Ching divination, practitioners examine the active lines, the rows represented by different lines, the relationships between them, and how the situation develops through transformation. The first thing that stands out in this hexagram is the amount of movement. The first, fourth, fifth, and top lines were all active. When many lines become active at the same time, it often suggests that multiple factors are changing simultaneously. Rather than showing a simple and stable situation, this hexagram reflected a relationship filled with uncertainty, movement, and competing influences. I Ching Stream is the first platform dedicated to systematically bringing Chinese I Ching divination texts, methods, and case studies to a global audience. For thousands of years, Chinese practitioners have developed and refined practical methods of I Ching divination based on images, numerical systems such as Najia method, and text. Before I Ching Stream, this practical tradition was largely inaccessible to international readers because there was no systematic English presentation of these classical manuals, methods, and case studies. Building this foundation requires years of study because of the specialized language and technical knowledge preserved in these texts. Over the past several years, we have translated and organized important works such as Zenshan Bu Yi, Mu Shi Zhen Zong, Yi Mao, and other historical manuals, making these resources available to students, researchers, and practitioners around the world. If you would like to start learning this tradition systematically, our I Ching Divination, a practical study roadmap, is available through the link below this video. Now, let's continue with the analysis of this case. Another important detail appears when we look at the line representing the man in this relationship question. In a woman's relationship question, the officials and ghost line, abbreviated as OG in our chart, often represents the man, while the wife and wealth line can represent another romantic possibility. In this hexagram, the OG line on the second line concealed the wife and wealth line, WWD wood, beneath it, suggesting that there was another hidden romantic factor connected with the man. Interestingly, this matched the background of the question. Before casting the hexagram, the woman already suspected that there might be someone else involved. However, the hexagram did not simply indicate separation. The transformed hexagram was Tongren, a returning soul hexagram. In traditional interpretation, a returning soul hexagram often suggests something returning to a previous state. In relationship matters, this can indicate that two people may come back together. Therefore, the reading did not show that reconciliation was impossible. Reconciliation was possible. But the more important question was not only whether they could reunite, it was whether the original problem could truly be resolved. The combination of multiple active lines and the hidden romantic factor suggested that even if they returned to each other, the emotional conflict behind the breakup might remain. Later, it was confirmed that the ex-boyfriend had indeed moved on without a real gap after the breakup. He had already developed an ambiguous relationship with another woman he knew before. The querent strongly wanted reconciliation, and through persistent efforts, they eventually got back together later in March. However, getting back together did not automatically resolve the original problem. She still struggled to fully accept what had happened and continued asking further questions about the relationship afterward. So, what can we learn from this case? Sometimes the I Ching can show that something may return, but that does not always mean returning is the best choice. The past may come back, but that does not necessarily mean it is the right future. And to this querent, we might simply say, don't worry. If this one is not the final answer, there may be a better one waiting. Perhaps even a more handsome one. This case shows that traditional I Ching divination is much more than simply reading the judgment and line texts. It also involves the study of images and practical methods such as najia, which reveal deeper information within the hexagram. If you enjoy real I Ching case studies, subscribe to I Ching Stream. You can find more detailed case studies, written analysis, and additional resources through the links below this video, including our Substack archive. Let me know in the comments what kinds of cases you would like to see next. Relationships, career decisions, business questions, or other topics. We will continue sharing more examples from the traditional practice of Chinese I Ching divination.